lucky and blessed to be working with a lot of buyers at this time, and every single day I'm going through what's coming and what's going on in the Toronto condo market. When I say Toronto, I mean really the GTA condo market, to be frank. So today we're gonna do another one of those videos where I go through what's coming, what's going, what's for sale for specific clients. Obviously, I'm not gonna reveal too much about what they're looking for because it's confidential, but you get to see me go through the listings, how my process works, what I think of certain buildings, what I think of certain units. And you know, I'm very talkative. I can't stop myself from talking. You're probably gonna get a lot of anecdotes as well. So without further ado, let's start. Okay, we have the MLS system in front of us in the map mode. Let's just start by going to the table mode. We're gonna be looking at different parts of the city for different types of buyers. So specifically, let's start by taking a look at downtown 1+1 in a very confined area. For this client, we're gonna be looking at, up to $700,000 for a 1-bed +1, and it's gonna be downtown, as I mentioned. And let's put the last update as of last Tuesday. All right, let's see what's new here. So obviously, you know, 12 York, 14 York is a no-go for me. 159 Wellesley, this unit listed for $499 for offer night. Not a go for me either. I don't like these buildings. 251 Jarvis, once again, it's a no-go for me. I mean, when you really look at it, of the first 5 listings, 4 of the first 5 listings are 1+1s listed at $499 or $489, all for offer night. And 4 of the 5 are just truly awful towers, in my professional opinion. Don't be upset, it's just my opinion. But we're looking for something a little bit more central, something like 250 Wellington Street West, unit 1536. I really love 250 and 270 Wellington, are really good towers. This one specifically has some outdated finishes on the inside in terms of the hardwood, but has really good unexposed Rogers Center views. And the only downside of 250 and 270 Wellington as buildings is that their exposures are sometimes really obstructed. But besides that, they're really great, amazing towers. And the maintenance is just above $1 per square foot. In this case, the maintenance is $740, and the square footage is probably around $730, I would have to surmise. But it's all inclusive maintenance, which is fantastic. 197 Yonge, this building is actually right up my client's alley. They're a younger individual. They don't really care about the hustle and bustle or maybe the loudness factor in the building. Matter of fact, that is something they're actually looking for, something new and something sexy. They want to feel like they're in downtown. They don't want to feel like they're in a retirement home. However, the issue with these 1+1s in 197 Yonge, as decently as priced as this is, sometimes can have this middle of the unit bedroom. But in this case, I don't think this does. This is the exception, right? If we go to this picture, the floor plan, the bedroom is a proper bedroom. And this is quite rare for 1-beds in 197 Yonge. Most 1-beds in 197 Yonge do not have a proper bed. They have, once again, that middle of the floor plan bedroom. So this is definitely something that's getting added to the watch list for us. And it's not a tower I would recommend to every buyer, right? Every buyer is different. Some buyers have certain criteria that lend themselves to certain buildings. Other buyers have other criteria where we have to eliminate a building like 197 Yonge. Then obviously there's those buildings that don't apply to any buyer because they're just truly awful. 197 Yonge has its cons, but it's not by any means one that you have to completely avoid. There's also this unit in 10 York, unit 5502, 1+1, 2 washroom, listed for $649. And here we see that it was listed for $1,039,000 in 2023. What in the world were they thinking? That you couldn't even get that during the peak of the market. Now it's listed for $649. Let's take a look. Really great views. 10 York is a fantastic, awesome building. This type of narrow layout is not everyone's cup of tea, but it's a really quality, well-built building. It's a Tridel building. Let's add this to the list as well. In contrast, you have this one in 10 York as well, unit 2401 for $10K more. And although the layout is relatively the same, as we will see shortly here, and some might even prefer this layout, due to the more obstructed nature of the views, it appears a bit smaller and darker. However, it still has some decent CN Tower views, but that's the 50th floor, right? It's hard to compete with the 50th floor We're in kind of here the same exact unit, priced $10,000 more on the 24th floor. Before we move on to other listings we're going to review, as always, do not be shy. For any buying, selling, leasing inquiries, you can get in touch with me. My link is in the bio. Set up a chat. Let's see how we can help you. Now let's take a look at other properties for another buyer. Let's now take a look at what's new for 2 bedrooms in downtown Toronto, but a little bit of a wider range. We're talking about C8 and C1, but nothing east of C8 and nothing west of C1. And we're looking specifically for 2 bedrooms and 2 washrooms. We don't do any 2 bedrooms, 1 washrooms if we can avoid it. That's always my recommendation to clients. Avoid those types if possible. And here, let's put last update as of last Wednesday. All right, so not much in terms of what I haven't seen before. Obviously, these 2 listings, 36 Lisgar, 1515, listed for $558,000. Is a 2 bedroom. I mean, it's a 550 some odd square feet for 2 bedrooms. That's crazy. That is very, very hard to wrap my head around. And that's why 36 Lisgar is a tower that is better avoided if possible. You guys know the long storied history between me and this building's management and condo board. But, you know, it's very difficult to put 2 bedrooms in 550 square feet, but it's just what it is in this building, and that's why they're always listed for so cheaply. 576 Front Street is a decent building. 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms, listed for $629,000. That's for 680 square feet. It is a Minto building. I really like Minto buildings, but this is a building that's honestly, in my opinion, like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, but expectations are like a 9 out of 10 in terms of pricing. I think it's a bit overrated. Overrated doesn't mean bad. It's still a good, sufficient building. However, we see the photos are a little bit underwhelming. It's not professional photography, and the second bed is this middle of the floor plan bedroom. It's facing directly the train tracks. This is indeed not something I'm going to send to my client. This is interesting. 308 Jarvis. Now, the reason I find 308 Jarvis interesting, unit 1305, is a brand new building, never lived in before. Yours truly, myself, I actually have a listing for sale in this building. 1+1 2 washroom. You can find the details and information on my Instagram if you wish. So it's a never lived in before building, brand new, $699,000 for 697 square feet. And I can promise you that most likely the purchasers bought it at a much higher price per square foot. But the unit looks good, layout looks good. Thus far, it's a bit difficult to fully wrap my head around the layout here, what the layout is like. I mean, this is the second bed, at least it's a full legitimate bed, but this looks really tiny, even in the pictures. I'm not sure what's happening here. That's the front door, but where's the kitchen? Ah, I see. So there's a front door corridor entrance. You turn left, there's the kitchen, and that's very narrow. The unit I have for sale is much wider than this, and it's a smaller unit. But then you have your little seating area for the living and dining, I guess, and the TV set up here. That's where the vestibule area is with those chairs. Yeah, this is definitely very peculiar and odd layout. It's something that would not appeal to my client, although the floor to ceiling windows are quite nice in the primary. And then you have this unit in 150 East Liberty, unit 406, 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms. 150 East Liberty is a very underwhelming building. There's nothing specifically anything wrong with it per se. As we take a look at this unit does not, once again, show well whatsoever from the images. I mean, come on guys, we can do a little bit more on top of this when we list something. Yeah, this is a no-go. All right, so Midtown is considered C4 and C10. We're gonna eliminate this last update. For this one, we're looking at a budget of upwards of $550,000 max, and let's press on the 1 bed. Let's see what we find here. And the usual suspects really pop up. You have the Roehamptons, the Redpaths, the Broadways. This one's interesting. 195 Redpath unit 1402. These units are very micro, and matter of fact, when I was working with a buyer for a studio, we were looking at these as alternatives. But for $455,000, you can get a very micro 1 bedroom. Let's take a look. And indeed, these 1 bedrooms are truly, truly micro. I mean, this is a good alternative for a studio if you're looking to be a studio purchaser in downtown. Sometimes you have to pay upwards of, $460 for a studio in downtown. And for as Midtown, you can start at $455. And by the way, this is just what the asking price is, right? Prices in today's market are more negotiable than ever. That's one thing I'm always making clear to my buyer clients. That's not to say we can be unreasonable and offer $150K less than ask, or sometimes ridiculously below market value. It's just to say, is negotiable. But as low as that price point is, my client needs something larger. 101 Erskine, I really like. I really like 101 Erskine. Although this is also probably below 500 square feet. It is listed for $495 more, but it's a better building, I would say, than 195 Redpath. And you can see they've made a bit of a better use of the space. Now, the awkward thing with these really micro layouts is that where do you put your table? Where do you put your couch? I mean, the couch is in the kitchen. And although I like 101 Erskine, still this is probably too small to send to my client. So we're not gonna do this one either. A larger alternative in 195 Redpath Avenue is this one, unit 1201. The size here is a bit more functional, although the exposure is not as nice. And there's a very narrow corridor to enter. But at these price points, this is what you're gonna get, right? Once again, you can negotiate around the margins, but you're not gonna get a 700 square feet unit in a new building or middle-aged building up to 550. 8 Eglinton, which is a very, very mixed bag condo. It's a condo that's actually made significant improvements in recent years, and I'm really impressed with their concierge service. Every time I've been there, the concierge has been fantastic, very helpful. Surprisingly, for how much of a high rise it is, the elevator wait times are it's not like light speed, but it's pretty decent. But let's take a look at this one. Only 7 pictures. This is probably tenanted situation. These are, yeah, this is not a good representation of the unit. But I can tell you, having been in this unit, that the unit looks much better in person. And when I say in this unit, I don't mean this unit specifically. I'm talking about the 04s. So it's listed for $534. We would definitely negotiate off the price. Let's finish the video by looking at some 2 bedrooms in North York. I actually have multiple 2-bedroom buyers across the city, as you guys can see, many of which we're not actually covering right now. But let's cover this one in North York. So North York here, we mean C14, a little bit on the eastern side of North York, and C15, not really C7. For 2 bedrooms, 2 washrooms, 1 parking is a must. And here we're gonna put up to 715. All right, so 40 options off the bat. Now, 5795, really old towers, unit 204, 2+1, 2 washroom, 900 square feet. These are like kind of a cul-de-sac type of condos. This is a little bit too central and a little bit too depreciated for us, although the maintenance per square foot, and for my client, this might be a little bit too central. We're looking for something a little bit further east. But do not be fooled by the asking price. This is an offer night price. Even though it's an older building, although maintenance is quite fantastic for the age, this is an offer night price. It's not a straight asking price. Now, 60 Anne O'Reilly, unit 1361. I would have to guess that this is most likely a straight asking price, a 2-bedroom, 2 washroom for 787 square feet. That's a really low asking price per square foot, but look at the maintenance. The maintenance is $890 for 787 square feet. And this is not even an old tower. It's more of a middle-aged tower. So although there's potential here and the location is what we're probably looking for, it's just a little bit too high of a maintenance per square foot to start with off the bat. And it's a shame because 60 Anne O'Reilly is a Tridel building. It's a decent building, pretty good building, but the maintenance has really shot through the roof. Obviously, I don't want to speak out of school, but I believe it has mainly to do with some issues they had in the building. 3237 Bayview Avenue, unit 510. This is a really a boilerplate building. The location is a little bit random. I mean, it's like kind of the only building in that stretch of Bayview. However, the 2-bedroom units are often pretty nice in this building. I say often, not all the time. And for the price points, really, you're not gonna find anything magnificent. And I'm pretty sure I showed this to my other 2-bedroom buyers at the time. We decided to pass on this. We bought something in 28 Harrison Garden instead. And this has been attempting to sell for a very long time. As you see, they were listed for $599, $599, $628, $628. They've been selling for since November. They've been trying to sell for a bit now, and they've been on market for $628. I mean, this is probably not the best representation of a 2-bedroom in this building. The building is, once again, a very nothing building, neither good nor bad. However, this one, since I've seen it in person, I don't think it will appeal to my buyer, so we're not going to be sending it over. And really, 50 Anne O'Reilly, the same thing applies to 50 that I said about 60. As you see, the square footage is in the 700s, the maintenance is already in the 800s. Yet another 2-bedroom in this building, and it seems like a pretty good 2-bedroom. It seems like quality finishes, has a lot of sunlight, average sized washrooms, although this view faces some office parks that are going to be developed in the coming years. But once again, we have to pass due simply to the maintenance per square foot. And that was pretty much it. There's a lot more I can go through. I think we should cut the video for today. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Definitely feel free to get in touch with any buying, selling, leasing inquiries. Subscribe, comment, rate, and review if you find this content informative or helpful. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and stay tuned. Thank you.